everyone, I want to start this video off by thanking some of you that have made constructive criticisms and things I could improve on. So I've updated my microphone, hopefully the sound will be a little bit better. And I also made an improved camera stand so that my phone hopefully doesn't jiggle as much. Another complaint was for me to be more animated, but I don't think Ryan realizes I use my phone for all of this, and animation just isn't in the budget. And for today's video, I wanted to go over a topic that I feel like is overlooked by a lot of people. I know you see everywhere the pros of weight loss, all of which are very true, but I wanted to talk about the cons today because it's something that going into it, I had never heard anyone talk about. We kind of shy away from it because we're afraid that if people think there are downsides, then maybe they won't do it. But I feel like maybe I could help prepare people instead that are looking to take a similar journey to the one that I took. A quick recap was back in 2014, I weighed pretty close to 260 pounds. I never really thought much about keeping up with my weight or being concerned about it at all, but I decided that it was time to get that in check. We'll get into the why in just a moment. It's fairly specific, but first I want to talk about just a quick how-to of what I did, what might work for you. I don't really know. Everybody's different, but for me it was actually pretty easy, and that's not bragging. It's just when you put no attention into your personal health, getting to a healthier spot can be pretty simple. All I did was really just made better choices in what I was eating. I ate at fast food less. I tried to cook my own meal at least 4 or 5 times a week. And I added in light exercise, things like calisthenics, push-ups, crunches. I walked a little bit, a few times a week, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. Nothing extreme. And I ended up losing quite a bit and got down to a healthy weight within, I would say, probably 6 months or so. It's usually a lot more simple than most diet plans or workout professionals would have you believe. They want your money a little bit, so they're gonna make it seem like you have to do a bunch of things that you definitely don't need to. Just keep it simple, eat better, add in some light exercise, and if you're at an obese level, then that should be enough. As for why I decided to lose all the weight and why I even noticed that I had it in the first place is really a topic that's difficult for me to talk about. I don't think I've ever actually discussed it with anyone I'm close to. But in 2014, October, I went through a pretty rough breakup, I would say, for both people involved that really made me examine and want to change things in my life, but I still hadn't been pushed to the point of action until in 2015 my ex had gotten pregnant, and I'm not at all proud of the way I reacted over that, and a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about there, but I won't get too far into it. I think I could probably do an entire video on that, so why waste that opportunity by over explaining here. But long story short, I decided that the best way to quote unquote win that breakup and make myself happy again was to lose the weight I had accumulated, and that's going to lead into some of the downsides that are on my list today. Now, the first thing on my list is something I deal with every day, and that's after losing almost 100 pounds at this point, it's much colder. You feel cold a lot more, and that of course makes a lot of sense because you're missing all that fat that used to keep your body warm, and it's very noticeable when you lose a large amount of weight. Also, walking into things and bumping your bones on objects is a lot more painful. I'm a fairly clumsy person, and trust me, without that added cushioning, it definitely hurts more when you bump something hard. I also regret a lot about how I lost the weight. Just I wish I had added in more exercise, started weightlifting at that time because from a larger size, it's easier to chisel down and work to a healthy muscle mass. And I found it much, much more difficult to gain weight, which I'm trying to do now, than it was to lose it. Now, that could be different for everyone. It's just a regret that I have personally. Some people don't want to gain muscle mass, they just want to lose fat, and that's fine if that's something you want to do. But I do recommend exploring the option of weightlifting early on in a weight loss journey. And another thing that I still deal with to this day on occasion is binge eating and the guilt that comes after. It's something most people aren't even aware that is happening for a long time, but when you're trying to just lose weight, you become almost obsessed with what you're eating at some point, regardless of how maintained you are. And it's easy to intake lots of food all at once and then immediately regret it. This could lead to a very dangerous road. It didn't for me. The worst thing was just the guilt I felt afterwards, telling myself I shouldn't have eaten that much and that I wasn't going to eat that much next time, and then next time it comes eventually. And it's again one of the problems with the way I went about my weight loss, just trying to hit the lowest possible number on the scale. This is a fairly common symptom that people come across. And a much darker side of my personal journey was, as I discussed before, it didn't come with the happiness that I expected it to. I expected just my life to be better and for everything to be great, and I wouldn't be sad anymore. Because that's not exactly what happened. It actually led to myself being more unhappy and, in my opinion, began my road to the depression that really hit a fever pitch in 2017. I also didn't, in my opinion, at least not the way that I expected, I didn't become more attractive, which is definitely what I expected. But as it turns out, when you lose weight, this pretty much stays the same. You're not changing your face. You don't magically just become more attractive. Yes, you are more attractive in the respect that if people are into skinnier people, you will be more attractive, but also you put in that work, you put in the effort, which is attractive to the right people. And that's just not something that I saw for a long time. I only saw that I still looked the same, and I don't know exactly why I expected different results, but I think subconsciously I did, and that's another thing that led me to a darker place, as I expected to have all of the rewards that I thought came with being a more attractive person. One of which was that I thought I would have an easier time attracting women. Definitely didn't work out that way. Most of the people that I've dated since then have not been the best, but you are still capable of making really bad choices, no matter what size or weight you are. That's something that I've had to learn the hard way, and I do think that I'm a better person for going through those things, but I thought that I was going to have a much better time if I could just get that weight off, and that's just not the way the universe works. She could care less about what you want out of life. She's going to do things her way and only her way. And all of that being said, I still think losing all of that weight was still one of the best choices I made in my life, for my life. I've extended my life theoretically, statistically, by decades. I have fought off diabetes and heart disease risks, which are all very worth it, and I do more. One of my favorite hobbies now is hiking, which is something that would have killed me when I was 260 pounds. I don't feel like I could have managed to climb some of the mountains, both physically and mentally, that I have to this day if I had that still literally and mentally weighing on me. But I do wish I'd done it differently, and for very different reasons. I think that if you are at an unhealthy weight, then it is definitely something that I strongly encourage, but do it from a place of self-love. I want you to love yourself enough to stick around with us for a while longer. And I'm hoping this video can kind of help you learn what to watch out for, and if you ever have any questions or are in need of advice, I'm always here, always willing. Just leave me a message here, Facebook, Instagram. I'm in all those places. But thank you for watching and hearing me ramble on something you're probably not that interested in, but maybe it's helpful, and that's a big reason why I'm doing this. And I'm going to, in future episodes, continue to try to improve. So if you have any complaints or anything you think I could improve on, please don't hesitate to let me know. Ryan, and I'll see you next week.